Praise be Jesus and Mary, now and forever. Today, the second Sunday of Lent. Our gospel is always that of the Transfiguration of our Lord. We actually sometimes hear this one 3 times throughout the year. Sometimes in February, which I believe we did this year, the second Sunday of Lent, and also on the feast itself, which is August 6th. But it is a very important episode that did occur in the Gospels. Here, in this passage, this was from St. Luke, who heard it from the apostles, but also Matthew and Mark also record it. Matthew was an eyewitness, was there below, he did not come up to Mount Tabor, but anyways, he's a witness of the eyewitness of what occurred during the Gospels, all right? Anyways, here we get St. Luke's account. And St. Luke gives us the most thorough account. All right? And what we see here, our Lord had already been predicting his passion and death to his apostles as they were heading towards Jerusalem. And so now at this point, he takes these 3, the top 3, as it were, Peter, James, and John, up to the Mount Tabor and is transfigured before them now. But note also, they see also with him Moses and Elijah. Moses representing the law, Elijah the prophets, who of course everything they wrote was about our Lord. Remember, the Old Testament foreshadows the new fulfills the old. They go together. And St. Luke, I think St. Luke does, so we know what they were talking about as well. Oh yes, he does. In fact, St. Luke does say it. All right, they spoke. Here, St. Luke uses the word exodus. Kind of an interesting word, and he's referring to our Lord's passion and death. Exodus from where? Going out of where? Well, going unto his passion and death, and he would rise again in his glorified state. And he would then, of course, be departing from the apostles in his ascension. But anyways, the point here, they're referring to his passion and death. They were speaking of his passion and death. And our Lord was giving these 3 disciples this sign, right? This inkling of the glory to come, his own glory as God, his own divine glory. An inkling only. They would not be able to withstand the whole. But he gives them an inkling of that to prepare them for the shake-up they were going to get at his passion and death. And in fact, as we know, they all fled except one. The only one that didn't actually flee from the passion, ultimately, was Peter. Went in first, but then he denied our Lord, just as our Lord predicted, and then he too ran out. Right? And if the other apostles did see the passion or witness it, they did it from a distance. They weren't there on the hill of Calvary, but one was, St. John. He's the only one who went to the mother. He went to Mary. And she took him right to the cross. Right? But so in order to strengthen their faith, Peter had already professed for all, and thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. But now it would weaken. You see, and so our Lord here gave him this inkling of his divinity, as it were, of his glory, what was to come, right? In order to prepare them, strengthen them, when what was about to happen would happen, his passion and death. You see why this is so appropriate here on this Sunday of Lent, when we are actually reflecting on that very episode, the passion and death of our Lord. Our redemption, as we see at the very end of the passage, our redemption. This intense love of God for us. Right? Now we also see something else here too. At the very end, after Peter, without knowing what he's saying, oh, good Lord, it is good for us to be here. Let us put 3 tents up here for you. All right? What? Then the cloud comes over them, overshadows them. Right? Much like the cloud in the Old Testament as the people of Israel made their exodus from Egypt, leaving Egypt. Right? And every time the Lord spoke to Moses, it was in a cloud. No one can see our Lord in the fullness of his glory and withstand it. So now it does again, and here comes the voice of the Father. Now, of course, the apostles are very much afraid, and any one of us would be too if we experienced something like this. Right? But now they hear the voice of the Father, and here is where we see our response. This is, a more traditional translation will say, this is my beloved Son. Here it says, my chosen Son. This is my beloved Son, listen to him. Follow him, listen to him. He is telling you what to do. He is teaching you. Listen to him. Meaning listen and follow. Live what he is living. And we too will experience, if we do, that glory of which our Lord gave an inkling. Because we too, when we rise from the dead, and we will rise in our glorified states. Right? It follows for us too, but we have to do exactly what the Father tells us. Listen to him. What our Blessed Lady told the servants at the wedding of Cana, do whatever he tells you. Because our Lord is God, and he will carry us through. So let us truly listen to him. Praise be Jesus and Mary, now and forever.